Most celebrity mansions look luxurious, but Jinkee Pacquiao's Forbes Park estate is on a completely different level. Hidden inside one of the richest neighborhoods in the Philippines is a mansion filled with designer fashion rooms, massive crystal chandeliers, hotel-style interiors, and enough luxury to make Hollywood celebrities jealous. And somehow, every new area of the home looks even more expensive than the last. Today, we're taking you deep inside Jinkee Pacquiao's jaw-dropping mansion to see how the Pacquiao family built one of the most extravagant celebrity homes in the country. Number 1. The mansion hidden inside Forbes Park. If you want to understand where the Philippines' ultra-wealthy truly live, you don't start in malls, penthouses, or high-rise condos. You start in one place, Forbes Park. Located in the heart of Makati City, Forbes Park is not just a neighborhood. It is a controlled world of silence, security, and extreme wealth. Massive gates guard every entrance. Private security patrols move through tree-lined streets, and access is strictly limited to residents and approved guests. Even among wealthy Filipinos, very few ever get to live here. This is where billionaires, politicians, and global business families build their private estates away from public attention. And inside this highly exclusive enclave sits one of the most talked-about celebrity residences in the country, the mansion of Jinkee Pacquiao. Now, the Pacquiao name is already known worldwide. Manny Pacquiao is not just a boxing champion. He is an international sports icon with a career that spans decades, multiple world titles, and historic fights that made him a global household name. But behind that public success is a family lifestyle that has evolved into something far beyond sports. And at the center of that lifestyle is Jinkee Pacquiao. Over the years, she has become widely recognized not just as the wife of a boxing legend, but as a public figure in her own right. Known for her fashion, luxury lifestyle, and appearances that often capture public attention. But nothing prepares you for what exists behind the gates of their Forbes Park property. Because this isn't just a house built for comfort, it is a private estate that reflects decades of transformation, success, and financial growth. From the outside, the mansion already makes a statement. High perimeter walls block out the city noise completely. Large gates mark the entrance like a secure fortress. And even before you step inside, there is already a sense that what lies beyond is not ordinary. But the real shift happens the moment you enter. The atmosphere changes immediately. The noise of Makati fades. The energy slows down. And suddenly, you are inside a space that feels completely separated from the outside world. Wide-open layouts replace the cramped density of the city. High ceilings create a sense of scale that feels almost overwhelming. And polished surfaces reflect light in a way that gives the entire interior a soft, luxurious glow. Nothing feels accidental here. Every design choice from flooring to lighting to furniture placement feels carefully considered. This is not a home that was simply built. It is a home that was designed to represent status at every angle. And yet, what makes the Forbes Park estate even more interesting is not just its appearance, but what it represents. Because this mansion is the physical result of a journey that started far away from luxury. A journey that began in extreme poverty in General Santos City, where Manny Pacquiao grew up with very little, working small jobs just to survive. From those early struggles, no one could have predicted that he would rise to become one of the greatest fighters in boxing history. But that is exactly what happened. And with that rise came global fame, massive earnings, endorsements, and opportunities that completely transformed his family's financial future. This mansion, then, is not just a display of wealth. It is the final outcome of that transformation, a symbol of how far life can change in a single generation when talent, discipline, and opportunity align. And as we step closer to the estate itself, one thing becomes clear. What lies inside is not just luxury. It is a world built from success itself. Number 2. Inside Jinkee Pacquiao's luxury palace. Once you step fully inside Jinkee Pacquiao's Forbes Park mansion, the difference is immediate. This is no longer just an expensive home seen from the outside. It becomes a carefully constructed world of luxury, where every detail feels intentionally designed to impress, comfort, and communicate status at the highest level. The first thing that hits you is space. Not just open space, but exaggerated space. Rooms are not simply large. They feel intentionally expanded to remove any sense of restriction. Hallways stretch wider than expected, ceilings rise higher than normal residential standards, and every section of the house seems built to create a feeling of openness that borders on cinematic. Then comes the visual impact. Polished marble floors reflect light from above, giving the entire interior a soft glow that changes depending on where you stand. Crystal chandeliers hang strategically from high ceilings, not just as lighting, but as statement pieces. They don't blend into the background. They define it. Everything in the mansion feels elevated beyond standard residential design. Even the furniture choices reinforce this theme. Large, plush seating arrangements dominate the living spaces, arranged in ways that suggest both comfort and presentation. Nothing feels randomly placed. Sofas, tables, decor pieces, they all seem positioned to maintain balance, symmetry, and visual harmony. And that is where the true identity of the mansion begins to show itself. This is not a home built for necessity, it is a home built for presentation. The color palette throughout the interior leans heavily into soft luxury tones: whites, creams, gold accents, and warm neutrals. These are not loud colors. They don't scream wealth. Instead, they create a controlled elegance that feels calm, expensive, and deliberate. But what really separates this mansion from typical luxury homes is consistency. There are no low-effort spaces, even transitional areas. Corners, corridors, small sitting sections carry the same design language as the main rooms. That level of detail suggests a fully curated environment where nothing is left unfinished or overlooked. As you move deeper into the house, the atmosphere becomes even more refined. The main living areas feel like a blend between a private residence and a five-star hotel lobby. High ceilings amplify the sense of scale. Decorative pieces are carefully chosen, not excessive, but meaningful in placement. Even the lighting is layered in a way that enhances depth and mood rather than simply illuminating space. Yet despite all this luxury, there is still a surprising sense of livability. Personal touches are visible throughout the mansion. Family photographs, lived-in seating areas, and warm ambient lighting prevent the space from feeling like a cold showroom. Instead, it feels like a home that exists at the intersection of comfort and extreme wealth. And that balance is rare, because many luxury homes lean too far into either excess or minimalism. But here, the design manages to maintain both grand enough to impress, yet personal enough to feel lived in. One of the most striking aspects is how the mansion controls attention. No single feature overwhelms the others. Instead, your eyes naturally move from one detail to the next. Chandeliers to flooring, furniture to lighting, space to structure. It creates a continuous visual experience rather than isolated moments of luxury. And that experience is intentional. Because homes at this level are not just built, they are staged. Every angle, every reflection, every layout choice contributes to a larger narrative of success. But as impressive as the interiors are, what you are seeing is still only the beginning. Because this mansion is not defined by one room or one design feature. It is defined by how every section connects into a single lifestyle system. A system where privacy, comfort, and luxury exist without interruption. And once you understand that, the real question begins to form in your mind. If this is only the main interior, what exactly is hidden in the deeper parts of the mansion? Number 3. The fashion rooms that shocked everyone. If the outside of Jinkee Pacquiao's Forbes Park mansion already feels like a statement of wealth, the inside takes that impression and multiplies it in ways most people would never expect. Because at this level of luxury, a home stops being just a living space. It becomes a private showcase of identity, taste, and success. And for Jinkee Pacquiao, one of the most talked about parts of her entire mansion is not the living room or the staircase. It's her fashion spaces. These aren't ordinary closets. They are full-scale fashion rooms designed with the precision of a high-end boutique. The lighting is soft but intentional, placed to highlight every item without creating harsh shadows. Glass panels and open shelving give the entire space a showroom-like feel, as if every piece on display is valuable enough to be sold in a luxury store. And what fills these rooms is what truly captures attention. Rows of designer handbags sit neatly arranged, each one from globally recognized luxury brands. Some are classic pieces that never go out of style, while others appear to be rare or limited edition items that are difficult to even find on the market. Instead of being stored away, everything is displayed in a way that makes the room feel like a curated exhibition of wealth. It's not just about ownership, it's about presentation. Then you notice the shoes. Dozens upon dozens of pairs are carefully organized, not stacked or hidden, but arranged with almost boutique-level precision. High heels, luxury sandals, statement footwear, and elegant designs all occupy their own space, suggesting a lifestyle where fashion is not occasional. It is part of daily identity. At this point, it becomes clear that this is not a regular walk-in closet. It's closer to a personal luxury archive, a space where every item has meaning, value, and placement. But what makes it even more striking is the scale of it all. Most people would consider a walk-in wardrobe a luxury on its own. But here, the wardrobe itself feels like a room inside a luxury department store. Everything is expanded, spaced out, and designed so that nothing feels cramped or hidden. Even the jewelry storage adds another layer to the experience. Carefully arranged pieces sparkle under controlled lighting, creating a subtle glow that draws attention without overwhelming the space. Necklaces, watches, and fine accessories are displayed not just for storage but for presentation, almost like pieces in a private collection meant to be admired. And the design choices reinforce this feeling everywhere you look. Mirrored surfaces expand the room visually. Neutral tones keep the focus on the items. Elegant cabinetry ensures that even storage areas maintain a premium aesthetic. There is no sense of clutter or randomness. Everything feels intentional, almost curated by a professional stylist. But beyond the luxury itself, what really stands out is what this space represents. Because rooms like these are not just about fashion, they are about structure, discipline, and control over wealth. Nothing is accidental, everything is organized. Every item has a place in a system that reflects a very specific lifestyle, one where appearance, presentation, and personal branding matter just as much as comfort. And when you look at it from that angle, it becomes more than just a fashion room. It becomes a reflection of the Pacquiao family's rise. From humble beginnings in General Santos to global fame and political influence, every luxury item here tells part of a larger story, not just of spending power, but of transformation. And just when it feels like you've already seen the most extravagant part of the mansion, you start to realize this is only one section of a much bigger world inside the estate. Because deeper inside, there are even more spaces designed not just for display, but for pure lifestyle luxury at a scale most people would never imagine. Number 4. The over-the-top features. Money can buy. At this point in the tour, one thing becomes undeniable about Jinkee Pacquiao's Forbes Park mansion. It was never designed to feel ordinary, even for a second. Because once you move beyond the main living areas and fashion spaces, the mansion begins to reveal another layer of luxury. This is where the home shifts from being a beautiful residence into something closer to a fully self-contained private estate. A place where comfort, entertainment, and privacy are engineered at the highest level. One of the most important elements in any mansion of this scale is entertainment. And here, entertainment is not treated as a simple add-on. It is built into the structure of the lifestyle itself. Private lounge-style spaces are scattered throughout the estate, designed for relaxation and social gatherings. These areas feel closer to luxury hotel lounges than typical living rooms. Soft ambient lighting, spacious seating arrangements, and carefully selected decor create an atmosphere that feels both exclusive and calm. It's the kind of environment where time slows down without you realizing it. And then comes one of the most expected luxury features: private entertainment spaces. A home theater setup elevates the experience far beyond a standard television room. Instead of casual viewing, it becomes a cinematic environment. The layout is structured for immersion, The seating is designed for comfort over long periods, and the atmosphere is controlled to replicate a premium movie experience inside a private residence. But what makes it interesting is not just the presence of these features, it's the way they are integrated seamlessly into the home without disrupting its flow. Because nothing feels out of place here. As you continue deeper into the estate, another essential aspect of high-end living appears: wellness and fitness. At this level of wealth, convenience becomes everything. There is no need to commute to gyms, spa centers, or wellness facilities. Everything is built directly into the home. Private fitness areas allow for training and exercise in complete privacy. The design prioritizes functionality, but still maintains the overall aesthetic of the mansion. Even practical spaces are treated with design consistency, ensuring that no part of the house feels disconnected from the luxury theme. And beyond fitness, there are relaxation-focused spaces that feel almost spa-like in atmosphere. These areas are designed for recovery and calmness. The lighting is softer, the color tones are more neutral, and the entire environment shifts away from the grandeur of the main rooms into something more peaceful and restorative. It creates a balance between high-energy luxury and quiet personal comfort. But what truly defines this mansion is scale. Everything is larger than expected. Rooms don't just serve a function, they amplify it. Hallways feel extended, ceilings feel elevated, and open areas create a constant sense of freedom within the structure. Even simple architectural transitions feel intentional, as if the house was designed to guide movement in a specific emotional rhythm. And that rhythm matters. Because in luxury architecture at this level, design is not just about appearance. It is about experience. How you move through the space, how you feel in each section, and how each area transitions into the next all contribute to the overall impression of wealth and exclusivity. Even the outdoor sections reinforce this feeling. Landscaped areas, open-air sections, and private exterior spaces extend the mansion beyond its walls. These areas are designed for gatherings, relaxation, and privacy, giving the impression that the estate functions as its own independent environment completely detached from the outside world. Once inside, there is very little reason to leave. Everything, entertainment, wellness, relaxation, and comfort, exists within one controlled space. And that is the real definition of this level of luxury. Not just ownership of expensive things, but removal of everyday limitations entirely. But even with all of these features combined, the mansion is still not the full story. Because behind all this luxury architecture, there is still something much bigger driving it all forward. The empire, the legacy, and the journey that made all of this possible. Number 5. The Pacquiao Empire behind the mansion. No matter how extravagant Jinkee Pacquiao's Forbes Park mansion looks, it doesn't exist in isolation. Because behind every marble floor, designer room, and luxury feature is a much bigger story: the Pacquiao Empire. To understand the mansion, you first have to understand the journey of Manny Pacquiao. Long before the fame, long before the championships, and long before the luxury lifestyle, there was a young boy from General Santos City living in extreme poverty. A boy who reportedly had to work small jobs just to survive, with no guarantees that life would ever change. And yet, against all odds, that same boy would go on to become one of the greatest professional boxers in history. World titles across multiple weight divisions. Sold-out arenas across the globe. Millions of fans watching every fight. And eventually, a financial breakthrough that transformed not just his life, but his entire family's future. This is the foundation of the Pacquiao Empire. But what makes it even more interesting is how that success expanded beyond boxing. Manny Pacquiao didn't stop at sports. Over the years, he became involved in politics, business ventures, endorsements, and investments. Each new chapter of his career added another layer to the family's financial ecosystem. And Jinkee Pacquiao has been a major part of that journey. From public figure to entrepreneur to lifestyle icon, she has built her own identity within the larger Pacquiao story. Her presence in the public eye, her fashion influence, and her role in shaping the family's image all contribute to how the empire is perceived today. Because at this level of wealth, lifestyle is not just personal, it becomes public branding. And that brings us back to the mansion. The Forbes Park estate is not just a luxury home. It is a symbol, a physical representation of everything the Pacquiao family has achieved over decades of struggle, discipline, and global recognition. Every room reflects a different stage of success. Every design choice reflects a different layer of wealth. And every luxury detail reinforces the idea that this is a family that transitioned from survival to global affluence. But there is another side to this story that often gets overlooked. Because with fame and wealth also comes attention, scrutiny, and constant public interest. The Pacquiao family has lived much of their success under the spotlight, where every lifestyle choice is observed, disturbed, discussed, and sometimes debated. And yet, despite all of that, they remain one of the most recognizable and influential families in the Philippines. That influence extends beyond boxing and politics into culture, fashion, and even how luxury is perceived in Filipino society. Jinkee Pacquiao's lifestyle, in particular, has become part of that cultural conversation, often highlighted for its bold fashion choices and high-end aesthetic. But at its core, the story is still about transformation. And that is what makes this mansion more than just luxury. It makes it a symbol of everything the Pacquiao name has come to represent. A reminder that success, no matter how extreme, often has roots in struggle. And as you step back from the gates of Forbes Park and look at the full picture, one thing becomes even clearer. This mansion is not just a house. It is the final chapter of a journey that started with nothing and ended inside one of the most exclusive addresses in the Philippines. But even beyond the wealth and recognition, it also reflects the pressure that comes with living at this level, where every success is celebrated publicly and every lifestyle choice becomes part of national conversation. It is a world where privacy is rare, expectations are high, and legacy matters just as much as luxury. And in many ways, that is what makes the Pacquiao story stand out. It is not just about reaching success, but maintaining it under constant attention, while balancing fame, family, and public responsibility. Because at this level, wealth is no longer just personal comfort. It becomes a public symbol that people interpret, admire, and sometimes question. Every detail carries meaning, whether intended or not. And even when the cameras are gone, the image remains, shaping how the world remembers the journey. And that is the real story behind Jinkee Pacquiao's next-level lifestyle. And that's Jinkee Pacquiao's Forbes Park Mansion, a home that reflects a journey from struggle to global success. From boxing glory to a life of extreme luxury, the Pacquiao name continues to dominate headlines. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like it, subscribe to her status, and turn on notifications for more luxury and wealth stories. But here's the question. What does success really look like to you? Make sure to share your thoughts in the comments section below. We will love to hear from you.